Philippine city volunteers deliver rice to Bohol island towns that are in a state of emergency. City volunteers bring hope to an impoverished single-parent family in Taiwan. Welcome to Dai Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. In Bohol Island, the Philippines, the government has declared a state of emergency in 2 towns because of the dry weather. Local officials have sought help from Tzu Chi. City volunteers immediately gather rice and travel to the towns to distribute rice to the residents. In Bohol Island, the weather is dry and there's a lack of irrigation systems. As a result, the paddy fields are so dry that one cannot sow rice seeds. City volunteers have brought rice, which is much needed.
With my authority,
we had to declare the state of emergency because of the dry weather. I sought help from the government and NGOs. I really appreciate Tzu Chi, who reached out to us immediately.
Pasalamat sa Tzu Chi Foundation nga sila gimitubag.
Ang edad 83.
I'm 83 years old. I'm very happy to receive Tzu Chi's rice. Thank you, Tzu Chi. I really cannot afford to buy rice.
Daghan salamat sa inyong bugas.
Conducting the rice distribution was not easy. The volunteers had to get the rice from different places before traveling for 3 to 4 hours to deliver the rice.
Thank you, Tzu Chi, for giving me this bag of rice. Now I don't worry about putting meals on the table.
Traveling through the city and town, the volunteers are filled with joy as they deliver timely help to the people. Since 2016, Cambodia city volunteers have been distributing rice 4 times a year at the Danker landfill. Since some female rice recipients couldn't carry the rice, city volunteers recruited volunteers on site. This time, 35 people volunteered to help out. Wearing volunteer vests and holding PET bottles, the people have started helping others before they receive rice.
I'm deeply touched that I can solicit donations and inspire people's love. I hope the fund can be used to help other people.
Seeing Tzu Chi volunteers coming to help us, I'm really happy and I want to join the ranks of volunteers.
Besides collecting donations at the distribution, some people brought their field coin banks to the event.
I appreciate that they bring their coin banks. Do you know what's inside? Money. It's love.
We give a little with love, hoping to help other poor people like me.
Before the rice distribution, everyone prayed sincerely, hoping for a brighter future.
We really encourage everyone. We also praise Tzu Chi volunteers.
Tzu Chi wants to improve your life and help your next generation. Children are the future hope. We must help them pursue an education.
The residents who live around Danker landfill scavenge for a living. City volunteers' rice distribution, which takes place 4 times a year, helps them put food on the dinner table. City volunteers also conduct home visits and plan to help these families in need. In 2011, Tzu Chi assisted survivors of the 3/11 earthquake in Japan. Since this time, volunteers return each year to invite residents to a year-end blessing ceremony.
Sometimes people only see each other once a year, but that friendship is nevertheless strong.
できますので、これは私たちリサイクル
Tsuji's affinity with Matsumoto Kiichiro began after the 3/11 earthquake in 2011. The assistance given then cemented the friendship.
Maybe we're unable to get everything we want this year, but we should be grateful we have our health and we live each day in peace and safety.
Meanwhile, visiting another senior, Tachibana Kazue, she has set out appetizers for everyone.
When I received Tzu Chi's consolation cash and saw the video where Taiwan children donated their savings to help us, I was really moved and felt I couldn't even throw away the envelope.
In 2011, when Ms. Tachibana received Tzu Chi's consolation money, she immediately wrote a letter of gratitude in return. In her letter, she wrote, "I live in Miyagi Prefecture's Ishinomaki, where the earthquake struck. When I received Tzu Chi's consolation money, I was extremely moved. I also heard from the volunteers other parts of the world are also suffering from disasters. And although I only have a little to donate, I hope to do my part to help them." She donated 5,000 yen back to Tzu Chi, which is 10% of what she received from the consolation cash.
Even the envelope of the consolation cash was very well made. I'll never forget the love I have received from this foreign organization for the rest of my life.
Senior Ito Yatsuko's home is another place the volunteers must visit. As it turns out, this senior was inspired by volunteers and led other women in her community to reuse the wool from old sweaters to make hats for the homeless in Osaka. With each stitch, she passes on her best wishes, as well as helping to mend her pain and suffering from the quake. In this 6 degrees Celsius weather in Ishinomaki, Miyagi Prefecture, there are plenty of warm hearts.
Thai Neuroscience Society has held its annual seminar in Bangkok, Thailand. The president of Tzu Chi University, Ingrid Liu, was recognized with lifetime membership and Outstanding Female Scientist Award. Ingrid Liu just became the president of Tzu Chi University in August of this year. Her outstanding academic performance has also been recognized internationally.
And the brain region involved is already well studied.
On December 11th, Ingrid Liu was the first lecturer at the annual seminar held by Thai Neuroscience Society. Witnessed by many experts and scholars, she was also recognized with the honor of Lifetime Society membership and Outstanding Female Scientist Award.
It is in recognition of my lab and the nurturing of talents and research cooperation between Tzu Chi University and college in Thailand over the past years.
Professor Ingrid she made a very good contribution in order to educate Thai students. So this thing is very important for our Thai Neuroscience Society. So very few people can do this kind of job.
你们可以看一下哈，就是右边有。
More than 5 years ago, Ingrid Liu has helped set up the program for PhD in biomedical field in Taiwan and Thailand. She has helped lay the foundation for nurturing research talents in the two countries. Li Mingyue used to drive a taxi to support his family, but he suffered a stroke last year, so he can no longer work. So the volunteers do their best to bring hope to this family.
你要买一个便当大概多少钱啊？
我都买菜饭的，55。
你买菜饭吗？比较便宜吗？
对。
是啊。爸爸家这间贵贵的啦。
In this bedroom, the two boys and I sleep on this bed because it is small. The youngest son often complains about his brother lying over him. The bed is broken because we have been sleeping on it for at least 10 years.
这上有10年有啊啦。
哦，你看，这个吃一吃怎么放在这里？啊？还够宝贝哦。对呀，太离谱哦。
啊，离谱！你也更小呗？
谁丢的？
好像是我。
那怎么会塞衣橱里面？
对呀，要随手，该收的都要收，垃圾就是垃圾啊，另外。
我讲过啦，
乱七八糟的嘴。
师兄，你来都会念他们吗？
恁讲。
我会哦。
啊？
会哦。
你弄我那个念？
嘛是该念一下，嘛是该鼓励一下，因囡仔就是。对啊。
艺术出来也足够的。
乖乖，嗯。
哎呀，你们洗澡都是怎么洗？啊？
烧电锅。
是用什么烧？
电锅。
电锅烧水啊？
洗衣机也坏掉了吗？
嗯。
那你怎么洗衣服？
手洗。
洗全家的吗？
对。
每天洗。
谁洗？啊？
弟弟洗。
弟弟洗。你怎么那么厉害啊？你会洗全家的衣服？哎，在你家当最小的很吃亏呢。人家在别人家当最小的都吃香喝辣的，啊，在你们家最小的都很吃亏，什么都要做，我跟你讲，你这样子做下来你是超级无敌棒的。
这个可以换吗？
你这个还要吗？不要了嘛。
对啊，对啊。好。
这个不要了。
要的。他一边做一边学，这两个兄弟，一个长得这么壮。
The elder of these two is so strong, but he does no household chores. The youngest one is so skinny, but he does all the household chores. He will feel imbalanced, right? So I'm going to teach both of them how to do household chores.
来，一条擦，要擦这个，这样擦，因为这个习惯了，这样擦。
因为今天最主要是要让他们学习，那个家。
The major part of today's work is to teach them that to keep their home clean, what they have to do to keep their home clean.
I have no ability to shoulder what will happen next because I'm working. I feel the whole family is trapped in a vicious cycle. We see no hope in the family. For the past 2 days, I've worked for 14 hours. The capillaries in my eyes have bled because I'm extremely exhausted. The whole family can't depend on me because I must take care of dad and 2 younger brothers.
有在进水了，对不对？好，你现在关电嘛，对不对？好，你把电源打开。
大哥哥在讲说，要送寄养家庭，然后爸爸去机构。
The eldest son was talking about giving them to foster families and the father to a care home. Then his brother in the junior high school went to hide in the bedroom and cover himself with a comforter. I thought he was sleeping, but when I went to remove the comforter, I saw he was actually crying. It makes us feel heartbroken too because this home is their home, even though it isn't in a good condition.
至少是自己的家。这个气节啊，对。爸爸来的时候，你会怎么样？
我会非常的高兴。
恭喜你们，恭喜！祝福爸爸身体健康，希望我们全家都能住在一起。我会努力学习，这个是好心的愿望。对于有啥物期许的，当该祝福的。
希望他成绩进步了。
成绩进步还有吗？
吃饭多吃一点。
在哪里？祝福你愿望达成。
Global emission continues to rise, and each country is looking for the next renewable energy resource. From the signing of the Paris Agreement in 2015 to now, many of the countries are being stagnant in the planning phase. Despite that, the grassroots efforts have been amazing.
Presently, climate change and global warming is no longer a future problem. We are in a state of climate emergency and change needs to happen now.
Emissions coming from the industry are the large majority. The heavy industries like steel, cement, they account for a large part of our global emissions.
Among the new Jing Superior Line technology is an eco-paver. It's suitable to replace cement and other flooring materials, and each block can withstand 40 tons of weight. It can also reduce the environmental harm caused by mining ash and rocks.
Lunch containers and paper cups have a plastic film. After we remove the plastic film from the paper, we take the paper and recycle it into toilet paper and tissue. Meanwhile, the plastic film is normally incinerated. Instead, we use it to make the eco-pavers. This is what we refer to as zero waste.
I think it's a very good initiative because it goes from a linear point of production to consumption to a more circular economy, and it really makes use of the materials that we have and value adds to what we have.
Positively impressed by this work.
As if you can embed sustainable production and consumption practices and eventually build a circular system, this will be so much desirable, and then we can definitely mitigate emissions along these lines.
A circular economy helps to recover valuable resources as well as to create more value by having a renewable economic and industrial system. In the end, the circular economy ensures the sustainability of the planet.
In the United States, Rockport, Texas was struck by Hurricane Harvey in 2017. The Tzu Chi, Texas chapter launched a medium and long-term recovery plan for the disaster area. 2 years have passed, and how have they been?
At the time, I remember there were no hotel rooms, no schools, no government offices, so they could hardly function.
I will say Harvey was the worst by 100-fold because we were cut off from the rest of the world. All of the other hurricanes I've been in, we could drive 5 miles and we could find something that was available for us. We could find assistance, we could find some gas, we could find some water. You're completely cut off and isolated in Rockport.
It's a really humbling feeling to have to go stand in line for food. We didn't have it, we didn't have anything. We had to live in a shed where there was no toilet and there was no kitchen. It was really stressful. It was a stressful time for us.
The heart, but it doesn't really work that much. Broke it.
Are we over it? We're not over it. I think that the guesstimate is that it's going to be another year or two before Rockport is really completely back to whatever new normal looks like.
Long-term recovery is important because, people may be back on their feet, or we're slowly getting back on our feet, but still we got pushed so far behind, so far back, because it's like we had to start over.
Do you like it?
Yes, they're having fun.
It seemed like it made people feel like people care about us. So the people that were here were like, you know what, I want to help too. So it brought everybody together.
One of the neat things that Harvey brought, I think every cloud has a silver lining, every disaster has some good. And one of the neat things that Harvey did for our community is it broke down walls. It broke down barriers.
Like they talked about a lot about love, being kind to people.
They have a huge heart.
Yeah, and we go to church and that's what our pastor preaches, just love somebody. And then it's not really about the financial, it's about, what they care and they want to come help us.
Children at home nowadays may be obsessed with 3D products and video games. What is the negative impact of video games? Here's our report.
In early August 2019, Taipei World Trade Center had a joint esports and comics exhibition, which attracted more than 560,000 people. Most of them are elementary, middle, and high school children who love video games.
I love games with special cards, with team game with 5-star characters. This gives me a sense of accomplishment. It's very good.
I've been playing games since the first grade. My mom said I shouldn't play so many games because it'll affect my eyesight, and now I'm nearsighted.
A research institute estimates that in 2018, there are 14.5 million gamers in Taiwan. Many people are not able to write as kids, but they learn to use a mouse, a cell phone, or remote control. However, children's use of 3C game can affect their physical and mental development over a long period of time.
There are obesity problem or problems with insomnia if he uses the phone for a long time. His eyesight might be impacted as well as children's behavior or development.
There is so much fun in the living world. A child can learn through observation, but because they are on the phone, this blocks everything.
In Taiwan, the value of the gaming industry in 2018 has reached $1.9 billion, which is a 7-year high. Among this market, the greatest growth was in mobile games, which were valued at $616 million, which had 25.5% growth. This trend seems unstoppable. Technology must be carefully managed to meet the needs of children and parents. Founder of this company, Guo Liuzhong, was a computer teacher at Taipei First Girls School and also went to Japan to develop his career, specializing in AI and speech technology. Due to a long-term overseas trips and missing out on his daughter's growth, the idea of building a companion robot took root in his mind, but it was anything but easy.
I really wanted it to feel human, like it being able to have human-type interaction. Please answer here, please answer here, please be quick. The kid wants to grab which hand. This is participation and interaction. When just starting, they couldn't compete by giving the answer. They would just try to answer. They slowly try and adapt.
Nursery school children cried and didn't want the robot to leave them.
Perhaps with the help of high-tech layouts and AI, there's a chance that technology will gradually become closer to more people through cell phones and tablets. Still, scholars point out that it is necessary to bring children from the virtual world back to the physical environment.
告诉大家，好吃的东西来啦！希望今天可以吃到不同口味的东西。小朋友，如果你是野鸟，会希望吃到什么食物？
After seeing these videos, they go back and read the story in this book and try to answer these questions.
Real objects and those animated are quite different as they involve different parts of the brain, and neither can be replaced.
E-books may be framed of the image for kids and make them want to turn the page to see what type of animation appears next.
Although it is not easy for children to get more exposure to books, physical toys, nature still find it is hard to defeat their love for 3C games. Some say there are still a number of rules to follow.
Many preschool children may not be able to clearly identify the time on the clock. It will be hard for them to count down on their own, and when the time is up, you have to tell them to stop. For parents who don't properly regulate at the beginning, if they already have developed bad habits, it might be very difficult to force them to stop.
3C video games, the era of technology, will frequently accompany us as it may be difficult to turn back. But the child answered the robot question correctly and then looked away. The eyes of this child are quite happy as he looks at this robot and is accompanied by his mother on the sidelines from start to finish. Parental care and company are still much needed when using these advanced technology toys.
To raise funds to build more Jinsihao, Malaysia volunteers have held a charity running event. About 500 people participate in the run to inspire people's love. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.